Yo, welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet VGC video. I'm your host, Jose Rocks, and today we have another episode of Journey Through VGC. The current format we are in is Regulation H. Y'all ready? Let's get into it. Holy smokes, we are back with another one. So today we have a really interesting, cool team. So this is going to be Japanese Sand or Japan Sand, what I like to call it. And it's inspired by the old Japanese Sand teams that used to come around. I believe it was like maybe 2012, 2011, when Tyranitar and Rotom were, really huge in the format. And they also, of course, King Gambit and Corviknight and I believe Lycanroc weren't around at the time. But in place of those, you had, I don't remember what the Corviknight mon was. I believe it was Aegislash, if I'm not mistaken, that was on that team around the time. Or it was another steel type, right? But you had the Rotom instead of the Cryogonal, and then you had the Escadrille instead of the Lycanroc, right? And so I really wanted to build, a team that's inspired, like really similar to those, and be able to, have some fun on a ladder with it. So Tyranitar is going to be a pretty standard, especially defensive Tyranitar. One thing to note is that with us being so invested in special defense, we really didn't have a lot of room for like speed and defense. So we just went around with HP, attack, and like special defense, because that's how I like to play my T-Tar. And it plays really good into like the trick room matchups and things like that, right? And it's really bulky on the special side. But just keep in mind that you do take a little bit more damage from physical attacks. But if you could play around that, then you'll be in a really good spot. We have the Flying Tera, which is just pretty standard for Tyranitar. And we're not running something like Bulldoze on the Lycanroc like my previous Lycanroc Tyranitar teams. So we have a little bit more of an interesting Lycanroc set for this one. But the T-Tar is just, what it really does is just enables the rest of the team. Sand Chip is really good. It's very disruptive into the Sun teams that are running around, as well as the Rain teams. And it just activates the Lycanroc, so Lycanroc can have a lot of success. So Lycanroc, if you don't know what it does, is one of the fastest Rock Slide users, right? Rock Slide is just a very powerful move. It's able to flinch a lot of things in the format and just allow you to have extra opportunities. And we have Flying Tera so that you can Earthquake with Garchomp next to it. And you can go for like a Howl to get Garchomp a +1. And Garchomp also has Scale Shot, right? So you can go for a Howl into Scale Shot, get the +1 Scale Shot, and then just get your speed boost, and then just be able to outspeed everything on your opponent's team with Lycanroc and Garchomp. And once you get that +1 speed, like Garchomp with Ground Tera, at that point you won't be tearing ground, but just Earthquakes, because Lycanroc will be Tera Flying. Just clicking like Earthquake into your opponent's team, if they tear into something like Flying, you can click Rock Slide with Lycanroc. It's just very hard for your opponents to deal with. So it's a really cool strategy. And Howl can activate pretty much everything on this team except Cryogonal. And Accelerock just allows you to remove things that have Sash. Let's say that you take a Sneasel down to Sash with Tyranitar with Terra Blast. A Sneasel might not be expecting you to have priority and just one-hit KO it if it has like an burden boost, and just KO it with Accelerock, right? So it's a really cool niche way to pick up some damage, especially in this video. You'll see that we was able to use Accelerock to great effect while we were in Trick Room, right, which gave us a really good Trick Room matchup. Like I said, Garchomp is Ground Tera with Loaded Dice and Scale Shot. It's just really good. Scale Shot is just, in my opinion, it's better than Dragon Claw right now. And the Life Orb allows for, Garchomp's overall attacks to do more damage. But we were still able to do plenty amount of damage with Scale Shot with Loaded Dice, because if it hits 5 times, it's 120 base power or 125. And that's relatively pretty comparable to Life Orb Garchomp's Dragon Claw, which I believe with the Life Orb boost is maybe around 97 or something like that damage. So it does a little bit more than that. King Gambit is also Flying Tera so that you can lead it next to Garchomp in case your opponent wants to lead like Incineroar, and you get the boost on King Gambit, and it allows you to be able to Earthquake next to King Gambit as well, right? And King Gambit also is really good into the Trick Room matchup, and the Flying Tera just allows you to be immune to those ground type attacks. Gives you a neutrality against fire type attacks, which are you're able to take fire type attacks like from Torkoal really well in the sun. If you not in the sun, really you take it really well when you Tera in the flying. You have Tyranitar Sand up, right? So you're able to survive that. So you don't necessarily need something like Fire Tera so that you can still Earthquake next to your King Gambit. Other than that, it's pretty standard. We have Iron Head over Swords Dance because we're going to be getting attack boost from the Howl. And fairies can be pretty common in the format, so I really want to, not really fairies in general, but Fairy Tera, like Fairy Tera Volcarona, Fairy Tera Dragonite, Fairy Tera Farigiraf. So being able to hit those fairies with Iron Head is just really solid in my opinion. And we have Corviknight over here. This is going to be a pretty standard Dragon Tera Sitrus Berry Corviknight. It's really cool in this format because Corviknight is very hard to remove. There's a lot of win cons that you could play for, where if you just remove your opponent's special attackers and Corviknight gets a few bulk ups off, it's just so hard to remove from the game. You have Sitrus Berry to keep you healthy while you're setting up your bulk ups, and then after you get your bulk ups up, you just go for your roost, and your opponents just can't really deal with Corviknight. And Brave Bird is just really good coverage until like a Mungus, which can be kind of annoying for this team to remove if you didn't have that Brave Bird on there, since we don't have like any grass terrors or something like Taunt. Last but not least, we have Cryogonal. So Cryogonal was the last field for this team. Like I said, I initially went with Rotom, but Rotom is just not good in this format. Hydro Pump feels really bad when you're missing it, and Will-O-Wisp just feels like he's just not doing enough quick enough for this team, because this team is kind of like a hyper offense sand team, right? So I wanted to still keep the idea of it being sand and Garchomp being able to Earthquake next to everything. So I wanted something with Levitate, but then I realized that my Dondozo matchup is not too good if I don't have Endeavor on Lycanroc. So I was like, okay, I need to find a Levitate user that also has Haze, right? Cryogonal's the only one that does that. So we were able to make it fit on this team because we gave it a Ghost Tera, so you're able to get around Fake Out, as well as reduce the incoming fighting type damage that can target Cryogonal, since you have 4 fighting type weaks on this team, which can all tear away from the fighting type weakness, but Ghost Tera just felt really good on Cryogonal to get around Fake Out, right? And Safety Goggles was the best item on it because Focus Sash has already been taken up for Lycanroc. And since we're not really trying to invest into special attack on Cryogonal, we just went max speed with like max HP, so it can be kind of bulky and be able to take a couple hits and be able to switch in on Dondozo while it has its boost up and just haze away the boost, right? You outspeed Dondozo, you can survive any of its attacks, and then you just haze away the boost. So it's really solid, and the Safety Goggles protects you from taking Sand Chip, as well as Icy Wind being a really good form of speed control in case you just need to outspeed something. You can go for like Protect Lycanroc, Protect Garchomp, or even Protect King Gambit if it's something like that's like middling speed, that's around, you know, like those Ursalunas or the opposing Farigirafs or just the Archaludons and things like that. You can outspeed them at -1 when you have your King Gambit, right? So it's just really good at helping you get the jump on your opponent. And Freeze Dry is also just really threatening it to things like Dondozo itself, Mungus, Gastrodon, just things that like to come to this this team and, you know, just sit in front of this team. The Freeze Dry does really good damage to them. But that's gonna be it for a team breakdown. If you guys want to give this team a try, there's a rental code up at the top right, as well as a Pokepaste down in the description below. Let me know in a comment what you guys think about Japan Sand. Do you think that I did a good job bringing it back? Do you think that it has a chance in this format, or do you think that it's something that, you know, died off back then and Sand is pretty much dead? Sand did just recently win a regional, so even if you guys do think Japan Sand has fell off, it's already proven that it can still win. But that was Escadrille T-Tar with like Sneasel and Indeedee, right? So completely different outlook on how the Sand was ran. But like I said, I wanted my team to be inspired by Japan Sand from back in the day, and that's what I was trying to recreate. But if you guys want to give this team a try, don't hesitate to try it. It's really fun, and I hope that we can showcase it today. But let's go ahead and get into these battles. All right, we got Marco's son here. I think Cryogonal can threaten. I think it's good on lead. He can threaten the jump bluff stuff. I think he's gonna play towards. Could he play towards Trick Room? He actually could. I'm gonna go with this mode just in case he does play towards Trick Room. Pretty cool to get Marco's son in our first game with this team, especially after we just made that video not too long ago of how this team is very reminiscent of Renya's son. Porygon Charizard. Okay. Would you really? I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna switch in Ursaluna here. There's no way you just let Charizard take a Rock Slide. I'm gonna count out. I need a Tera. I think you switch out Charizard here. Nice. It should be Ursaluna coming in, so I want to catch it on the switch in, then Sucker Punch it. Oh, it's Torkoal. It would have been nice if we could have caught Ursaluna on a +1 Cow-Type Cleaver and Sucker Punch it to KO it. See if Porygon Tera's here. It didn't. Alright, I think I want to give King Gambit another boost. I'm going to Sucker Punch here and Howl again. We know Charizard's in the back. We know he probably wants to overheat. If Sucker Punch gets the kill here, that'll be beautiful. It'll be close. Alright, that's probably fighting Tera. Porygon, yeah. So he's probably going to Tera Blast into the Lycanroc slot, which is fine because he probably was reading in a Tyranitar switch in, but there's no need for me to switch in a Tyranitar yet. Nice, we do get the KO. And now we get another attack boost on King Gambit. Yeah, we survived because of the Sash. Now, if I switched in Tyranitar there, we would have been in trouble. Do you have Ursaluna? Because we know it's Charizard. It could be Ursaluna, Jumpluff, or Incineroar. It is Ursaluna, so he left the Incineroar. Bring in Corviknight here and start bulking up. Lycanroc is still going to be good for a Rock Slide into Charizard since he uses Tera. Yep, alright. We got that read right. We get a flinch here too, it'd be super. Ooh, let's go. Alright, I didn't even check to see if Porygon got a download special attack boost. It does have a special attack boost. Alright, so I'm going to protect King Gambit because he's probably going to double up into it. And bulk up with Corviknight. Nice, there's the facade. He wants to remove King Gambit because it's threatening. And the Ice Beam into that slot. Yep. 2020 Pokevision. So now we Brave Bird Porygon, KO that, and Sucker Punch Ursaluna. And we just don't allow Trick Room to go back up since this is the last turn of Trick Room. Beautiful damage. Side one hit KO. Oh, we survived that. Wow, I actually... But we know Corviknight outspeeds Porygon outside of Trick Room, so I can just go for a Sucker Punch in the Ursaluna, Brave Bird, Porygon. That should be game. You switch in Charizard here. Charizard just threatened by +2 Sucker Punch, so I think there's nothing my opponent can do from this point. This is a clinic, man. This is definitely, like, getting those attack boosts on King Gambit is just so solid. And I don't know who's faster. We're both base 50 speed, but I have some speed investment. So just to be safe, I just keep clicking Sucker Punch there. Nice. And now we like Tyranitar, Lycanroc just beats the Charizard, but Charizard probably can't get past Gambit. I would expect this +2 Sucker Punch to KO, but my opponent's probably gonna scoop from this point. Sucker Punch, Brave Bird, it should be good. Well, he stays in, so let's see if it KOs. Nice. Charizard can't take that. And we beat Marco's son. Yeah, you guys should be prepared for this team. Marco was put on a clinic with it, and it does give you a really good matchup into Arc Rain. So those Rain teams that are like going up the ladder, this team has a good matchup into it and just shuts off their Rain, and they don't get to play the game the way they want to play. And if you guys, want to see the finals, just check out the most recent Latin internationals, where it was actually Sun against Rain in the finals, right? And you can see how good Sun is into that matchup. But it's pretty cool that we're able to beat that team. But like I said, be prepared for it because you're going to see it a lot on the ladder to deal with these Rain teams. But let's keep going. Hard Trick Room. Sun Room, actually. Good old Sun Room. How do we beat this? You know Smirgle's gonna come out on lead. Fake Out plus Trick Room looks strong. Tyranitar is really good into Sunroom, but he does have the Ursaluna. I think I want to play this just like how I would play the last Trick Room matchup. Corviknight gives me a good matchup into Ursaluna. Tyranitar is just good into his team outside of the Ursaluna. Like, we can also just get a crazy flinch turn 1, right? Which will probably, like, maybe insta-win if you can't get Trick Room set up. Oh, okay. I mean, we get the flinch here. We're in a really good spot. I would love a flinch. Alright, but he does get Trick Room up. But, I mean, Gambit is on the field right now. I can Accelerock you and Iron Head you. Seems pretty solid to me. Probably not expecting that. And he should underspeed us unless he just has speed investment on him. It's just Gleam. Nice, and take Hat. Alright, so we're up 4-2 early. We win the Weather War. He probably has Torkoal plus Ursaluna. I'm gonna double protect. Ursaluna plus Torkoal, right? Yeah. He should be Earth powering into. Into the King Gambit slot. Turns a trick on my left 3. My last 2 mons don't have protect. But what I can do is Accelerock plus Sucker Punch and Tera King Gambit. He didn't Tera either. Vacuum Wave. What? That's an interesting play to go for. I wonder if he's Choice Specs Torpo. I could have Tera King Gambit and attacked and got immense value right there. Alright, but now he's gonna Tera. Yeah, he's expecting me to Tera King Gambit this time. And I can't Tera Corviknight because I just Tera King Gambit. If depending on how much this does, if King Gambit can survive the turn. Sucker Punch's KO is close, so we can survive. I could have switched in T-Tar and didn't and not Tera King Gambit. They actually would probably just want me to game. If he's Choice Specs locked, then actually this game is not over. If he's Choice Specs locked, then he's in trouble. If Torko can't go for a fire type move here. And he honestly may be running Eruption and Weather Ball. Yeah. Yeah, and I just healed that back off. Is that in the Corviknight? Yeah, he doubled. Oh. I did not expect that to be able to KO. Alright, but I think it's fine. We should be able to take at least one Earth Power. With the sand up, I wouldn't expect it to be able to KO. Alright, so I want to knock off the Life Orb too, to reduce his damage. Nice. Beautiful. Yeah, so a play that I didn't see, guys, is that he was locked into Weather Ball, but if he's going for Weather Ball, even if he wasn't locked, I could have not Tera King Gambit, switched in T-Tar. He would have went for a Hyper Voice, which would have been resisted by T-Tar and King Gambit, and Weather Ball would have been a rock type attack. and when it went right into King Gambit, and we would have survived. So I actually had a really good win con where I could have survived with both my mons, and had Lycanroc and Corviknight in endgame. We were still able to win this game though, but it was really close. We'll just go for knockoff here. Yeah, Vacuum Wave is cool, but so he's not running Protect on his Ursaluna. It's 4 moves with Life Orb, so it's Vacuum Wave. He could have actually won if he got a crit or either one of those moves, but Tyranitar being super bulky is just really solid for us. But yeah, he's running Vacuum Wave, Earth Power, Blood Moon, and Hyper Voice. So it's actually surprising to see him running, being able to fit Vacuum Wave on there. But his thing is he's hard Trick Room, and he expects Ursaluna to always be moving first, so there's no need for him to have Protect, right? Which I can understand that thinking behind that. But it's kind of weird when you have Indeedee on your team, and you can't usually click Vacuum Wave when you have that. Protect is just better in that case when you're going for hard Trick Room, and Vacuum Wave is just something to tech onto like Assault Vest Ursaluna because you're not going to be going for anything else anyway, right? But that's just my opinion on that. But let's keep going. Got another Charizard here with no sun. Does Dragapult have sunny day? What's going on here? Galate looks powerful into my team. We have 4 mons weak to fighting, right? But of course, all of them have Flying Tera and Ghost Tera. I don't think he has weather though, so like Lycanroc is looking really good here with T-Tar. He doesn't really have anything to stop Flying Tera T-Tar except Glimmer, which Garchomp is good into that. Garchomp outspeeds Hydreigon, so we can always Scale Shot it. And outside of Charizard, he doesn't really have good damage into. But Cryogonal looks good here too. I actually want to go Cryogonal. I'm gonna leave Corviknight. Corviknight actually looks dominant here, so I probably could have considered it over Garchomp. But if it's Fire Tera, Heat Wave, Hydreigon, then Corviknight's not good into that. I mean, I'm just gonna Tera Tyranitar here. Okay, you're Grassy Seed, but are you going for Fake Out Trick Room? I'm gonna Howl here and Terra Blast. Gallade is not really scary. It doesn't have Psychic Terrain, so Psycho Cut is not doing as much damage. And if anything, you're gonna click Sacred Sword here. So if we're looking at Fake Out 1, either you give me the Howl or you take a Terra Blast. And if you don't Fake Out Lycanroc, then we still have our Sash intact in case you Sacred Sword that slot. So he has to really pick and choose. You don't really want to set up Trick Room because Tyranitar is gonna underspeed you, right? So he does Fake Out T-Tar. So he will Howl off. So Terra Blast is threatening right now. He did set up Trick Room. Yeah. Tyranitar is the fastest in Trick Room. What does he have that thrives on the Trick Room? He is faster than me, so I don't want to give him switching something too soon. But I have protects on everything, so I mean T-Tar is just. I can ignore the Rillaboom. Like, what are you running? Like Wood Hammer, high horsepower, U-turn. Like none of that hits Tyranitar. Your best damage is Psycho Cut. And he is gonna Tera Blade. That's a good Tera. He's kind of caught in a speed sandwich because outside of Trick Room. Oh my god. I spoke too soon. Wow, I didn't expect that double up to be able to KO T-Tar. I don't know if we were talking trash, like he's caught in a speed sandwich, but Tyranitar is gone now. Wow, I don't know how I get out of this. That was a really good trick one by my opponent. Projector is so obvious, but honestly, Lycanroc's not threatening a lot of damage, so he might ignore it, or he can just double it. You just double everything that didn't protect. Makes sense. Gosh, Trick Room was really tough here, man. Plus Steel Terror. Nothing I can do at this point. Well played. Wow, I didn't think Psycho Cut would do so much without terrain. It just speaks to the testament of the sharpness ability. Glade is really powerful, man. I think it's very underplayed too. Feels like I always lose to Glade on ladder. I don't know what it is. Like I'm like 0-5 against that mon in regulation H. It just always it just does so much damage that it's hard to like calc for it, you know. Let's keep going. All right, we have another Charizard Sun team. But there's no Porygon for this one. Lilligant Torkoal looks very threatening, right? But I'm gonna go with the 4 that helped me beat this team last time. Well, this similar archetype, but I think this one's a little bit more scarier with the Lilligant. Lilligant's scarier than Jump Love. Because Lilligant's threatening close combats. Oh, but he didn't even bring it. Are you Mirror Herb here? Are you just Flare Blitz in here? Because I could have Tera King Gambit. Yeah, he's not gonna go for a Tera. I could have went for it. He's not gonna fake out here. Oh, he is. That's a good play. I think I want to protect her and how. I let him get the free switch in the Torkoal. So he tried to nuke the King Gambit though. I have to cover for the Fergat switch in here too. So I'm gonna switch out Lycanroc. Tera flying. Switch out into T-Tar. Yep, that should be Fergat coming in. This stops any priority, right? Yep. But this is +2. We're taking away Torkoal's son. He's already used Tera, so Torkoal's not gonna be Tera. You bring in you bring back in the Incineroar, you're gonna give us another boost. It should still do a lot to where everything is in Rock Slide range. Well, not Rock Slide range, but just Rock Slide chip damage. And once we remove Frigoraph, everything's gonna be in like priority range. Nice, it doesn't do more than 50%. T-Tar is so good into these hard Trick Room teams. Beautiful. Torkoal's probably gonna switch out here, right? I'm still gonna just Rock Slide. Oh, he misses Heat Wave. Beautiful, he misses the King Gambit. Oh, that's so good. And we underspeed Frigoraph. This is going perfect. Like, couldn't ask for a more perfect game. And this is what T-Tar has been doing since like I started playing competitive in Gen 8. Is being able to stomp Torkoal's son. It's very hard for Torkoal to play the game with T-Tar. To be honest, like a lot of people, they just don't even bother bringing Torkoal into like the sand teams because it's just so hard for Torkoal to deal damage in the sand. This is easy. Protect plus pivot into Corviknight. And T-Tar plus Lycanroc outside of Trick Room just destroys these two. Rock Slide plus low kick pressure is just so threatening. I could have stayed in and knocked off the Ursaluna plus Caltech Cleaver because you can only fake out one, right? And if you don't protect Ursaluna, then you just knock off your orb. Your flame orb, but I don't think it's worth it. Yeah, so I could have got knockoff into that slide. He's probably gonna have horsepower. Oh, he doubled the King Gambit. so this is just Sucker Punch here into Ursaluna plus Bulk Up. I don't want to play the guessing game whether King Gambit or Ursaluna is slower. I'd rather just get the guaranteed damage. And he can tick out with like Sand and... Oh wow, Corviknight was actually slower than Ursaluna. So I could have Kowtow Cleave and just won the game, but I don't think it's worth it. But wait, are we outside of Trick Room? The Trick Room end and I just wasn't paying attention. I gotta read my prompts. I actually didn't read the prompts, but we may just be outside Trick Room, right? I'm gonna check. Yeah, Lycanroc comes in here. And this is just too hard for my opponent to come back from. Yeah, Trick Room ended. Yeah, that's my bad. So I could have just went for... It's still dicey because he could have Flare Blitz King Gambit. Right? If he Flare Blitz King Gambit, KO that, then we just don't get an attack off, right? So I think it's better to just have Ursaluna within range. And I kind of want to play consistent, so I'm going to Accelerock. We don't want to miss. And Bulk Up again. Just to ensure that we KO Ursaluna. Because Rock Slide has a 10% chance of missing. Yeah, this is another Flare Blitz, but we got Sitrus Berry. So we Sitrus Berry back up, and now we just Body Press and Center War. Tera was already committed to Free-Graph, so that should be game. Would I already eat my Sitrus Berry? Oh, yeah, I ate it the previous turn. My ability is unaware right now. I just had a long day at work, so I'm missing the Sitrus Berry proc, I'm missing the Trick Room ending. But we're so far ahead that it doesn't even matter at this point. I wonder how much single target Rock Slide non-intimidated does to Center War if my opponent doesn't scoot here. He doesn't scoop. That's decent damage. Body press to finish things off. Beautiful. And that's how you bounce back from a major Trick Room loss. Now, the only reason I couldn't play the last game like this one is because Gallade just threatens King Gambit, right? But I mean, I guess I could still Tera. I guess I could have still played it similar. Because he let it fake out Trick Room, right? Yeah, I actually could have played it the same way. Yeah, I think that's... I really like that Lycanroc King Gambit lead into those hard Trick Room teams. But, let's just keep going. Alright, we got our final match with this team, and we finally get to showcase Cryogonal against the reason it's on this team is for the Dondozo matchup. Alright, so my opponent doesn't have opposing weather, right? So I kind of want to go Lycanroc, Garchomp, Cryogonal, and King Gambit, because Corviknight can't do anything into Gobingo. And Glamour is packing poison plus rock type damage, which does nothing to King Gambit. Alright, so I got a really cool play that I can go for here. I want to just make it rain do more with it's super effective. He's gonna Tera here. So I'm gonna should I Tera here? Yeah, Tera flying. Sitrus seems fine. And a Celerock Talonflame, so he can't get Tailwind up. And this way, Rock Slide is very threatening to my opponent's team. Yep. Still Tera. Alright, if we just one-hit KO Talonflame, this will be huge. Because this is priority and we're faster than Talonflame right now. So a Celerock should go off before Tailwind. Nice. And that's a one-hit KO on Talonflame. Let's go. Alright, so we do take a Make It Rain here, but we now have Rock Slide pressure. That's a lot of damage. Huge turns for both of us. Alright, but let's see how much knockoff is doing here. Alright, just under 50. If I had Endeavor here, that would be huge for Dondozo. Actually, I think Dondozo protects here. I'm protecting Lycanroc. Yeah, I knew he was gonna stay in with Dozo this turn. I'm gonna just let him take T-Tar. Oh, you don't even take T-Tar. Ah, that was my chance to knock off the Gholdengo. I should have went for it. Alright, but I can Rock Slide here. And knock off the leftovers. Yep, there's a switch. If we get a flinch here, it'll be huge for us. And then I get the free switch into Cryogonal. Last turn, all I had to do was target the Gholdengo. I knew it was gonna stay in. No, well, that's gonna be tough to come back from. He can only KO one here though. Yeah, this is where Accelerock is bad over Endeavor because it helps you with this. But the reason that I didn't want to run Endeavor is because we have Cryogonal, which can beat those up. And Cryogonal actually beats Tatsugiri plus Dozo, so. Alright, so I'm happy that we get to bring out the Cryogonal tech. Because this is what I really want to showcase why it's on this team. If I had Sword Stance, that would have been punishing right there. But this is just a free haze because we don't take damage from sand. So he chips himself, and now I get the freeze dry into it plus Cow Top Lead. Tatsugiri, if it was Sash, it takes Chip. Kowtow. And I can just Sucker Punch Gordingo, because if it does have Trick, all it's doing is taking my item because it doesn't have specs, right? So it can't trick a specs onto us. Alright, not too much damage. And I Sucker Punch Gordingo plus Freeze Dry Tatsugiri. And this is the only reason why I don't have Endeavor on Lycanroc, because in any other circumstance, I really want to have Endeavor on Lycanroc. But as you see, Accelerock helped us beat the Talonflame. So the turn that I misplayed this game is I knew Gordingo was gonna stay in. I could have just knocked it off, and then we'd have had an end game against Tatsugiri by itself. Right? He's gonna go for Trick here, but it's fine because that means he's not attacking. And Black Glasses is just knocking out Gordingo from that range. Black Glasses Sucker Punch. Yep. It's Trick. Freeze Dry KOs Tatsugiri. And now we just keep Sucker Punching because you can't Trick forever. Freeze Dry plus Sucker Punch should be able to get the KO and Gordingo. Oh, Sucker Punch still gets it. Let's go. So this is a really cool game. I was able to showcase the reason why Cryogonal was on this team with the Haze, as well as why Accelerock is good on the Talonflame. And what's funny is when I was playing with this team, I initially had the Rotom for the Japanese Sand, and I had a really bad matchup into the Talonflame Gordingo plus Dondozo team. And this tech that I added was Accelerock on Lycanroc because I needed a Haze user. And with the Haze user, I didn't need Endeavor on Lycanroc anymore, right? And it's just, I'm glad they were able to showcase why I had that tech on his team and how it can work. So that's just a showcase of how you can use Cryogonal. It's really good into Dondozo. And we, like I said, we literally played that game perfectly, like 20/20 vision all around. The only downside is that I could have knocked out the Gordingo earlier to secure the game quicker, because we knew it was going to stay in, because my opponent was fearing that Lycanroc has Endeavor and he wants to knock it out, so we couldn't Endeavor the Dondozo. But we were still able to get that win even though we missed a Rock Slide, and everything worked out. And of course my opponent can't, unless he had Rock Slide himself, he couldn't KO Lycanroc plus Tyranitar at the same time, so he had to choose to pick one of them. And Tyranitar getting a knockoff on the Dondozo was really good for reducing the amount of healing it has. Or if he let Lycanroc stay on the field, we could start howling things and continue to Rock Slide flinch. So I know he felt the need to really get rid of Lycanroc. But that was a fun set of battles. Let's get into a mid-range review, or a final review, sorry. Alright, get into a final review with this team. And this team was so cool. Like, to play with Sand, this is my first time using it in Regulation H. And Tyranitar feels really good. I really like the matchup that it has into the common Sun teams that are starting to pop up now as counters to the rain teams, and it also just disrupts other rain teams, right? We didn't really go up against any real snow teams. We did play like in a Alolan Ninetales, but it just it didn't have any like anything else to take advantage of the snow. It was just snow on its own, right? But it does disrupt the other weathers. It's really fun having 5 physical attackers that can all be howled next to can be boosted up by howl next to the Lycanroc. And Garchomp being able to click Earthquake next to everything is just really solid, and it makes this team just really fun. It has really unique synergy, and it's really strong. The one thing that I would say now that I play with this game, this team that I would change, is I would make Garchomp Fairy Tera, just to give you a better matchup into Dragonite. Because going for howls when Dragonite goes for like Scale Shot and it can't hit the Garchomp, this makes this team that much more threatening, right? And you get off your Scale Shot or even like a powerful Earthquake, since they tear it away from their flying typing, right? So I think that's the only thing that will change. I did go for the Earthquake just to deal more damage and be able to quake next to everything. But in practice with this team, not having a Fairy Tera on this team made us like really weak to Dragonite, which I felt like was the only bad matchup for this team. We also got to showcase the Cryogonal and why it's on this team to help with the Dondozo matchup, and it's really strong. And also, like, it's the only special attacker on this team, but Freeze Drive does do a lot of damage into things that it hits for super effective damage. And Lycanroc's Accelerock is just very, good priority that your opponents are not expecting to come out from the Lycanroc. So it's really cool, and it allows it to have not be completely useless in Trick Room as well. Man, your opponents don't usually always have like counterplay into it when their HP is pretty low. So this team is, I'm gonna give it a 8 out of 10. It was really fun. Like I said, I wouldn't, if you want to take it to a regional, you could if you just feel like you love Sand. But I think that this is just a really fun team to play with, like on a ladder, and just enjoy it. And just if you want to try to see like what it feels like to use Japanese Sand back in the day. But that's gonna be it for final review of this team. There's a rental code up at the top right, as well as a Pokepaste down in the description below. Let me know with a comment what you guys think about Cryogonal. Do you think that it's a decent support mon? It has a niche in this format. And what do you think about Lycanroc? Do you think that Lycanroc is a decent a Sand abuser? Or do you like Escadrille better with the steel typing? Escadrille really wouldn't fit on this team because we already have Corviknight and King Gambit. And King Gambit really helps you get away from Intimidate since you have so many physical attackers, right? So I kind of feel like I needed that. But other than that, like, it's really, your choice whether you want to use Lycanroc or Excadrill. I personally like Lycanroc. I've always been able to play a lot better with Lycanroc. It just offers so many different support options, and it's a really fun mon to use in my opinion. And this is just scratching the surface. Back in like regulation, what was it, C? I had a really powerful Sand side spam team, and it had Lycanroc and Tyranitar with Indeedee side spam on it. It also had like Choice Band Corviknight, and I was able to go for Bulldoze with Lycanroc next to like Tyranitar or Choice Band Corviknight, and just outspeed a lot of things in that format and be able to just move before them with the Bulldoze and one-shot them, because Bulldoze doesn't hit you when you tear into flying or you're Corviknight, right? So it's really cool dropping the speeds, breaking Sash, and it was a really consistent strategy. And I also had Endeavor to help me deal with those like Dondozo matchups. But that's gonna be it for the final review of the team. Like I said, give it a try if you like Sand, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Stay tuned, more videos soon. Deuces.